I know math is not the Conservative Party of Canada's forte.
And the budget will balance itself.
So,
we first like to sell those separators to the current manufacturers in Canada, also in the United States. So we first aim at selling those to manufacturers in North America. But because this technology is very superior and then also sustainable, eco-friendly, therefore, if there are any manufacturers wanting to have separators, we will definitely consider exporting to Europe as well. But not very long after the plant is built, I'm quite confident that we can bring the production to the full production capacity.
Thank you very much for your question. Thank you.
Next question. Hello, Bobby Hristova with CBC News here. My question is for whoever wants to answer it. You all talked about workers and how this is a great thing for workers and that's the future. But there has been criticism about the use of foreign workers at EV plants, EV battery plants. So my question is, what guarantees were sought and received about who will get to work at this plant?
Well, I want to say thank you for your question. And as the Prime Minister said, we chose our partners very carefully. We made sure that we would build the full value chain in the country and making sure that we would maximize the impact for suppliers, but also for Canadian workers. In fact, Minister Fedeli was just sharing with me that he's on his way to Japan to make sure that we would meet a number of people and connect. You know, once these investments, these anchor investments have been done in the country, our jobs is to maximize the opportunities for Canadians, whether it's Canadian workers, Canadian construction workers, but also the whole supply chain, because you're looking at generational investments that are going to create tens of thousands of jobs over the lifetime of the plant. So I can assure you that in all our discussions with partners like Asahi Kasei and all the others, we've always made sure that we maximize the number of jobs for Canadians, but also not only during the plant and the construction phase, but certainly making sure that all the suppliers will be involved in that. And I can tell you, when you have a plant like that in Port Colborne or even in the region, you're changing the landscape for generations to come. When I was at the high school this morning, you could see, and you just ask the kids, you don't need to ask me, you should have seen the spark in their eyes when I said there'll be opportunities for you for generations to come, and this is what we want to build in every community where we bring an anchor investors like Asahi Kasei.
Hi, Laura Stone, Globe and Mail. Prime Minister, I want to ask you about leadership. Polls have put you 20 points behind the Conservatives, and it doesn't seem to be getting better despite your recent communications push from your budget. The public appears to have an overwhelmingly negative view of you personally, and you seem to have lost control of the conversation on some of the key issues that Canadians care about. I think the public might be looking at you and your position right now and thinking, for the good of the Liberal Party, why is he staying on?
Thank you for your concern, Laura. But as you see...
How many scandals do you think Trudeau has had? I have another video over here showing how many, and it is a lot. And I think shame needs to be brought back into Canada because he has no shame anymore. And I think it just trickles down to everyone underneath him. And that's what's really frustrating about Trudeau. And as far as an election is concerned, obviously there should have been one a year ago. But do you think it'll really be in October 2025? Because his steam, like all he has to do is smile and for the camera, go on his vacations. There's going to be a new love in his life coming up, probably, because he has to, because he needs to take attention away from himself. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think. Let's go back to the video.
We're here investing in good jobs for today and for generations to come. The world is in a challenging place, absolutely. But that's why for 8 years this government has been putting forward investments and a frame that both fights climate change and creates good jobs and economic growth, that understands that if you want to bring in strong investments and great jobs for Canadians, you have to be making investments in things like childcare, like pharmacare, like healthcare, investments in supporting our seniors, investments to make sure that young people get the best opportunity as they go off to post-secondary education. I know there are lots of folks in Ottawa thinking about process. I'm focused on results for Canadians. I'm focused on delivering the kinds of things that are going to set Canada and Canadians up for success over the coming decades, because that's the moment we're in right now. A different government years ago wouldn't have made the choice to build an EV ecosystem here in Canada. Would have doubled down on the oil and gas industry and stayed away from anything that threatened the oil and gas industry. Well, we know that the pressure we're putting on the oil and gas industry to decarbonize and to invest in renewables goes hand in hand with our decision to invest massively in the electrification.
I know math is not the Conservative Party of Canada's forte.
And the budget will balance itself.
So,
of our economies. Because we have the clean electricity here in Canada, we have the high-quality manufacturing workers, we have the social and economic stability that countries around the world and companies around the world are looking for. This is about building a plan for the future of this country. That's what we're focused on, and that's what I will continue to be focused on, because building a better future for Canadians, bringing in fairness for every generation, that's what I am 100% focused on right now. Merci. Ma job, c'est de livrer pour les Canadiens. Dans un moment d'incertitude, d'anxiété par rapport à où est en train d'aller le monde, c'est important de créer cette réussite pour les travailleurs canadiens, les communautés et les régions à travers le pays. C'est pour ça qu'on a fait le choix d'investir dans l'économie de l'avenir. Ce n'est pas un choix que d'autres gouvernements auraient pris il y a 8 ans. Si on veut à tout prix voir la réussite du secteur pétrolier dans ce pays, on n'aurait pas investi dans des véhicules électriques. C'est un choix que ce gouvernement a fait. Et ça a livré maintenant le pays classé numéro 1 dans le monde pour les chaînes d'approvisionnement en batterie pour véhicules électriques. C'est un choix qu'on a fait pour investir dans les technologies et les innovations nécessaires, investir dans les compagnies pour faire partenaire, pour devenir source d'emploi pour les Canadiens, mais aussi investir dans nos communautés, parce qu'on sait que des centres de petite enfance abordables et de qualité, l'assurance médicaments, des investissements dans les soins de santé, des investissements dans une communauté, une société résiliente et réussite, c'est comme ça qu'on va investir et attirer les bons emplois pour les générations à venir. Ce n'est pas du hasard, c'est un choix délibéré que ce gouvernement a fait. Il reste encore beaucoup de travail à faire et on va continuer d'être concentré là-dessus. Merci.
Dernière question.
Premier Ford, my question is about cars, but about car theft. How is the threat of suspending a driver's license actually going to make a difference in stopping auto theft? Somebody who's willing to steal a car probably isn't worried about the consequences of driving without a license.
Well, thanks for the question. I've said right from the beginning, we look at bail reform, and we worked well with the federal government on bail reform, worked well with the Minister LeBlanc on that as well, making sure we tighten up Montreal Port, which again, we've worked well with Minister LeBlanc on that as well. I believe in mandatory sentences. Someone's going in, stealing your car or kicking your doors in, putting a gun to your head, which has happened on numerous occasions.
I know math is not the Conservative Party of Canada's forte.
And the budget will balance itself.
So,
they should be going to jail immediately. What we've seen here in Ontario, people committing crimes, heinous crimes, and they're out on bail. Not once, not twice, 3, 4, 5 times. It's absolutely ridiculous. So the solution, there's many solutions, but one is making sure when we catch these criminals, we throw them behind bars and keep them there and discourage the rest of them to do the same thing. But I'm tough on crime.
Thank you, everyone. This concludes today's press conference.
Thank you. Thanks.
And is Chrystia Freeland doing a good job? She is the finance minister and the vice president of Canada. And she is the one that just looks like her head is just spinning when she talks. It's always like trying to drag it on, never answer a question. And maybe they should have this I thought they would always do this. When they ask a question, say, do you mind after you finish it, if you give me 5 seconds to say if you answered it or not for our listeners, because it is so frustrating. Everything is an infomercial with both of them. And that's something that I think needs to be stopped. Maybe the whole Constitution and the human rights and everything needs to be rewritten again after those two are gone, because this is just frustrating what they're doing. Anyway, let's go back to the video.